Greetings and salutations, my YouTubian nation. This is Chris, aka Barnon11970, and as always, I thank you guys for visiting my channel. Alright guys, I'm going to make this one fairly quick, and for those of you who watch my videos on a regular basis, that means under 30 minutes, so we'll see what happens. But I'm going to try and educate people into understanding that when you don't know how the government controls you, you will never see what is happening behind the scenes. It's like in The Wizard of Oz. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Because if you don't pay attention to the man behind the curtain, all you see is a scary monster that used fear to control you. And also ignorance. So, to show you proof that you don't own anything, at least not the way you think you do. Because, for example, people will say, well, you're wearing a chain. Well, you're wearing two chains. You're wearing a shirt. You're wearing a hat. So you own them, right? I'm going to show you you don't. You just think you do. According to the second version of the 13th Amendment in the ratified and overthrown original Constitution that came into the new Constitution in 1871, where they went from the Constitution for the United States of America to the Constitution of the United States, shows that in 1865, they legally defined the word slavery as as involuntary servitude. They did that for a reason. So they're basically what they're saying is slavery can't be where they can just kidnap you and make you do work. Unless, as it says in here, shall exist within the United States except as a punishment for crime. So basically what they're telling you is if you're in jail, you can become a slave. Well, that's probably why criminals make, what, $1.50 an hour or something like that while they're in jail? Well, because they're legal slaves, according to the definition of this ratified Constitution. So if you don't know that there are actual two constitutions and your government was overthrown in 1871, I suggest you look up the Act of 1871 to prove it. So this is all about proof. This is not conspiracy. Truth is stranger than fiction. So, with that amendment, this is how they tricked everyone. Since, according to the legal definition that is in this Constitution, slavery is defined as involuntary servitude, which means if you volunteer to serve, you are considered a legal slave. Now, the way they can get you to serve voluntarily into your servitude is by tricking you and being dishonest. Consent can either be from agreeing to do something or being silent. In other words, not arguing something. So if you want to watch on my other videos, it's going to give you in greater detail. So I'm not going into the full detail, but I'm doing a little bit of information just in case this is the first video of mine you've ever seen. The way they've tricked you into becoming, well, going from a people of the United States of America, which was founded in 1776. Arguably, you could debate that because there's other things, and we're not going to get into that, where you had rights to becoming a slave to the system known as the corporation known as the United States, is they tricked you through your silence. Because when you mark off on a checkbox that you're a U.S. citizen, and you get identification through your birth certificate, like a driver's license, or you pay taxes, or you register to vote, because you did those things and you didn't know what the definition of a citizen means, well, through your ignorance and through your silence, you've consented to become part of a corporation. In other words, you're a traitor unknowingly to the founders of this United States of America. Now, I can only speak for this country because this is where I live. It's going to be different from place to place, but admiralty law, where the law really is happening, is all over the place. So now let's get into the fact of this, and I'm going to put it in a way that will make perfect sense for you. Let's go back to before the Civil War, when people were allowed to own slaves. Now, one thing I want to get out, I'm not a racist. I'm not a bigot. I believe all men and women should be equally free. I don't judge people based on their color, creed, sexual orientation, anything. I base it on good or evil. So let's put this straight. Slavery is not just about African Americans. They condition you to be that, to think that way because they want to divide and conquer. They want African Americans or blacks or however the political correct way to say this side of human beings to hate this side of human beings. People like myself, white Anglo-Saxons. I have no problem with anyone's race, creed, or indifference. Unfortunately, the public education system is created to program you to hate. It's called divide and conquer. Separate the people, it's easier to defeat them. So slavery has been through the millennia, and there have been all races and creeds. So I know people like to use the race card to be able to distract people and create hatred, but fact is fact. But let's just say before the Civil War, when in the United States of America, they allowed the African American people to be taken from their home, dragged to this country, and were forced into slavery. In other words, involuntary servitude. Now, if you owned a slave, you didn't want them running around naked, would you? So you'd probably provide them with a shirt, probably provide them with pants, probably provide them with uh, shoes, probably provide them a home or a part of a home to live in. Now, just because that slave is wearing that shirt and is wearing those pants and is wearing those shoes and is living in that house, does that mean he owns them? Think about that. The only reason that shirt is being worn is because the master gave it to him, allowed him to use it. It's called right of usage. So when you put it in that perspective, if you know anything about the Constitution, and if you keep watching some of my past videos, starting with that 49-minute video about 4 weeks ago and going up from there, you will realize that if you are in the United States, there's a difference between USA, United States of America, which is the country, and United States in all capital letters. That's a corporation located in Washington, D.C. And the way they can get you to involuntarily serve is because they, in the 14th Amendment, or is it the 15th? Hold on. I'm sorry, the 15th Amendment, they legally define the word citizen. The word citizen, which if you watch any public speaker talk, they always say they're talking to the citizens of America or the United States. They love to use that word. They never say United States of America. They say United States because they're talking about a corporation. The citizen, legal definition of the citizen is two parts. It is a person that's born or naturalized in the United States and is subject to the jurisdiction of the United States. Not the United States of America, the United States. The jurisdiction of that area in Washington, D.C., known as the corporation called the United States. A corporation is nothing more than a piece of paper. It's not a building. It's not a location. It's a document that says whatever company it is, that is the specific corporation. And because you don't know about this, because they don't teach you it, they trick you into serving voluntarily. So even though you may have bought your house in cash, even if you think you own your car, even though you bought the clothes on your back, you don't own them because you are working for a corporation who is allowing you the privilege of using them. And that's why they can take them away from you anytime you want. And that includes your children. So when they tell you, even if you research that fluoride is bad for you, even if you research, when they give you the kids the flu shots and they actually have mercury in them and they make them sick, even if you find out that medications have all these toxins that don't cure you, they make you sicker and keep you under control. If you decide to say, well, I don't want my kids to have all that stuff, well, guess what? They call the Child Protective Services, they call you an unfit parent, and they take your child away. Because why? You don't own your child. They're just allowing you to spend all of your labor and all your money to raise that child so it can be productive enough to make them money. And they can take anything they want. And that's why when you die, and you even have your will, and you give away your possessions, the government takes a piece of it. Think about it, people. Are you tired of being consenting to slavery? Once you know about it, it's nobody's fault but your own. So you think you own your children? You think you own your car? You think just because you paid cash for your house, it's yours? Don't pay your taxes under the system. Call yourself a citizen and see how fast they take everything away. Do the things that they tell you you're not allowed to do, and watch how fast you end up in jail. This is what I need people to really check into. This is all admiralty law. If you want to check into this for yourself and show, like for example, the United States flag, when it has the gold trim, the gold fringe around three sides, that's admiralty law in effect. Because if you've ever seen the movie Far and Away with Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise, the whole goal of that movie was to get property in the new parts of the United States of America. And the way you claim it is by staking your claim with a flag. So a flag is a purpose. It's a symbol. And if you don't know what a symbol means, that's just as risky as taking a bottle that you don't know what the contents are, and you see a skull and bones on that bottle. If you drink it, not realizing that's a symbol for poison, guess what? You're dead. So a flag is a symbol of claim. And when you don't know what they are and what they mean, then you just think it's just a pretty design. So I challenge you, look up Executive Order 10834, which was made on August 21st, 1959, which clearly states that the American flag with the three corners in gold fringe is not the United States of America flag. It is a military flag which involves admiralty law. I'll get into that more some other time, but I want you people to know, just because you think you have possessions does not mean you own them. You're just holding on to them until it becomes to the point where they just feel like taking it, which gives kidnapping a whole new meaning. When people talk about how, and it's unfortunately usually girls or little children, where they just disappear. Well, let's put it this way. If somebody stole your car and you happen to drive along and then you found it abandoned on the road, well, if you go and get it, are you stealing it? It's yours to take. Well, if you don't know about the fact that a citizen means you're working for a corporation known as the United States, and they technically own you because you've given your rights and a power of attorney to a corporation, even though you don't know it. Well, if they see a little child on the street and they decide to take them, are they really kidnapping when it's something that's theirs? It gives a whole new meaning to it. That's maybe why none of them ever get in trouble or ever get caught. So when you want to make change, maybe you need to get pissed off a little bit. Maybe you need to stop with the being lied to, watching the television, watching television programming. They are so full of themselves, they put it in the name of the device. These people have been brought up with people like Sigmund Freud. They learn how to manipulate people through emotions, feelings, making you go from things that you have to have to survive to all these things that you think you need that are nothing more than garbage that you throw out. And all it does is it makes you broke, puts you in debt, and you have to work the rest of your life while they all sit there collecting your taxes, making you think that they actually go to bridges and roads. When all they have to do is just borrow more money from a Federal Reserve to print any amount of money they want to do those things. They pay you with debt. Are you tired of being lied to? This is what I want you to do. Thumb this video up. If you appreciate this information, in your comments somewhere, say thank you very much for this information, Chris. And you can either make your own video, share this video, but do something to get this out, because knowledge is power. Silence means you consent. So if you're silent to this, and I don't mean just my video, if you don't make this a video of your own, if you don't remix my video, if you don't talk to people about it, if you don't argue to your congressman about this, if you don't start waking up people, then you're consenting to the slavery. Because now you know. And if you choose to do nothing, well, then you have no right to complain. So to those people, I suggest this: shut the hell up. To the rest of you who are awoken to this, or enlightened by this, or see the truth and actually will take the time to verify this stuff, because I'm reading from the Constitution and I'm also reading out of law books. Black's Law Dictionary is one of them. I'm not talking about stuff that I saw on some YouTube video from some person that knows what they're not talking. They have no idea what they're talking about. This is actual proof. Look up Executive Order 10834. Look up the Act of 1871. Look up legal definitions of person, citizen. Look up the legal definition of slavery. And you'll see everything that I've said is 100% true. They just want to dumb you down, be one of those zombies, by entertaining you with twerking, with Black Friday, with all this nonsense to keep you stupid and distracted and divided. When you're tired of it, you will make the change. If you don't, then what the hell are you doing here? I'm putting my face on the line because I care about each and every one of you, and you can hate me for it, you can disagree with me, you can not believe, but it will not change the fact that the truth is the truth, and I'm here because I love you. What you do with it is up to you. You make your own destiny. If you want to believe that you have no impact, then you are absolutely right. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Peace.